Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Property Chat. My name's Ken Hume.
And I'm James Hume.
This week we're answering your questions. Stand by. Well, hi everybody, welcome back. This week we're dealing with your viewer questions on the UK property market, what your issues are and how we might be able to help shed some light on some solutions for you. James, this week we've looked at one from Kieran, I believe.
Yeah, we've got quite a common question that we face a lot in the estate agency market, obviously. The actual question that we're going to be covering today is from Kieran. Kieran's written in, he said, I've had my property on the market for 4 weeks now and I'm worried that it hasn't sold. How do I know if my house is priced correctly for sale?
Yeah, what a question. That's $1 million question, isn't it? Everybody asks it all the time and it's a really difficult one to get right. So, few things to bear in mind. First of all, comparison, James.
Yeah, I think we discussed earlier, comparison is always a key thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Getting onto not the comparison websites, the Zoopla and Rightmoves, and seeing what might be your competitors out there in terms of property.
Well, in a way, they are the compare the market of the property market.
Yeah,
so
of course.
It's a fair point. I mean, what we always think is try and sit yourself into the buyer's position. So, with property, we always want as much as we can get, don't we? This is human nature. We want whatever we can get. And sometimes we confuse this with what the real value of our home might be, because what we want is as much as we can get naturally on the one hand, but on the other hand, buyers want to pay as little as they can get away with for the best house they can buy. So the best thing to do initially is, as a seller, try and take yourself emotionally out of that situation for a moment, because it's very hard to think logically when you feel the pressure of selling the biggest asset in your life. So the first thing is calm down and think to yourself, if I'm a buyer now, what am I doing? So then what do we do, James?
Next, I'd say we probably have to get, as we said, go onto Zoopla, Rightmove, put in your property address, and then search within a mile.
Yeah, dial in your postcode.
Yeah, and try and find what else might be out there. Which is, if yours is semi-detached, make sure you're looking at semi and not detached. Yeah. Or if you're looking in a certain area, make sure the road that you're looking on is similar to yours, or what you think may be similar. So if you live in an area, I'm sure you know the area well. So try and think of a road that will be similar to yours. One that's maybe not, if you're in an area which is next to a busy road, you might want to make sure that the road that you're looking at might be in the same kind of situation as you.
Yeah, you know your area and you'll know which roads are better than yours and which are worse. And you've got to ask yourself seriously when you're looking at that list, is that house better than mine, the same as mine, or worse than mine? Hopefully you're sitting just in the right place there, the peachy spot where you're better than the house that's below you and not as good as the one that's above you. That's ideal, of course, but then we also have to get some perspective on that, don't we, James? Because there are those instructions which have been on the market for a year or more, which mean nothing, aren't there?
Yeah, there's those which might not be so comparable. So you've got to be careful when you're looking at, say, a house that's been on for a year or so, which might be at a price which you think, oh, great, I can put my house on for that price and it will sell. If it has been up for a year and it hasn't sold, then there is a reason for that. There's no buyers at that price.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to think about is there is a website called Net House Prices where you can dial in your postcode and see what completions have taken place on your street and surrounding. And that's quite a good exercise to do as well, especially when the market's fairly level. You have to be careful with it because it's giving you completion figures. So do be very careful, look at the dates and the addresses. And you can literally drive past the addresses and say, well, that one sold for X. How does mine compare with that, Kieran? That'd be one thing I would do straight away, is just get onto Net House Prices, dial in your postcode and see what's sold in your specific area, what price it achieved when it was, and then you can weight it accordingly, according to what the market's done. And the other thing, timing, James, so crucial.
Yeah, timing. Parts of the year are obviously very different. We're discussing, obviously, in Christmas, you're obviously going to get a lot less buyers. Not many people move house in the Christmas kind of time. August when people are away on holiday, can be a quieter month as well.
Yeah, weather can have an effect as well. Sometimes if we have a mild January, February, we can be really busy. But if it's really, really cold and dark, then we find we get less viewings and the market goes a little bit quieter. So timing is everything. And the other thing to think about, Kieran, if you've been on the market for 4 weeks, because you get old very quickly now, don't you, James? People are searching those listings every day, and if you've been on for 4 weeks, that may not seem like a long period of time, but if someone's seriously looking, they're probably scrolling those listings in Rightmove, Zoopla every day, and they're thinking, oh, there's that one again, and they mentally discount yours after they've seen it for just a few days, don't they?
Yeah, no, people obviously do search through these sites quite a lot, and it's very quick to notice. Obviously, if you are old, that's why it's great to go on and have a look at what your competitors might be in that sense, because you can put yourself in the buyer's shoes and understand that if you are going to be looking at properties, then you will notice as well by yourself that if a property's old, then you will skip past it.
Yeah, you kind of just skip it. You think, I know that one, nobody else wants it, why should I? So how do we get around that one? Well, Kieran, another thing you might want to consider doing is actually withdrawing your property from the market right now. That may seem sort of counterintuitive, but let me explain. What I'm really suggesting is that if you think, yeah, maybe we were a little bit optimistic on price and therefore we are that instruction that's becoming that old chestnut that nobody really wants to view, actually to withdraw it from the market and then put it back on the market at a more competitive price, it appears as a fresh new listing at a fresh price. And because you've got what I call clean air underneath it, you've given it a couple of weeks or so, all of a sudden it appears as that new instruction, the hot one, the one that people are interested in, and that can have quite an impact as well.
Yeah, I think this is obviously due to time constraints, because if you are working on a short time basis, then you might want to look at dropping the price instead of taking it off, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends, we always say the key thing to remember as well in order to reconcile to yourself if you have to drop the price is what you're trying to achieve. For instance, if you found the property of your dreams and it's 100,000 less than it might be in a stronger market, well, it could be well worth your while taking a huge hit on yours to get what you want. Because if you're dropping 100,000 even on yours, if you're getting what you want for less than that, then the difference is the same. What I'm really suggesting is what you sell for is not the key thing for most of us, providing we cover our mortgage and costs. The key thing is the difference between what we're selling for and what we're buying for, particularly if you're buying up market.
Yeah, of course. It's all about what you're selling and what you can move on to.
Yeah.
We find that people obviously can get attached to what you're moving on to and then get a figure in their head before actually thinking about even what their property might be worth.
And that's when they start saying things like, I must achieve this price. If only it were that simple. It's not about what you must achieve, it's about what buyers will pay in a given market. So, just bear that in mind. Well, Kieran, thanks very much for your email. It's been very interesting to talk about that. And thanks everybody else for your emails. We're going to try and get to all of your questions over time. Please do put comments on the box if you're on YouTube, or send us an email on the email address that follows. We hope you found this useful, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Take care.